Mangwana ni mwalelepo vukenja ni klekwas vanave Africa. Welcome to Africa Good Morning, the news and current affairs show bringing you everything you need to know happening on the African continent and beyond. You are joined by Ashwin Berry on Friday, the 7th of February. And these are some of the stories that we're going to be looking at. Malawi's president orders troops to withdraw from Congo. A bold move amid escalating tensions. Africa's top health official sounds the alarm, urging the U.S. to resume critical health aid. Zimbabwe's Mnangagwa backs Trump's deportation plan as hundreds of Zimbabweans face repatriation. And Air Botswana CEO shares the airline's success story in Namibia. Rorisang Mogojowe from Botswana and Mike Schula from Zambia will bring us the latest headlines from their respective countries. But do catch all our programs on oneup2.com or tune in on DSTV 285, GoTV 25 in Namibia, as well as Network Media Hub on YouTube. Top stories shortly.
Welcome to Namibia, where adventure meets tranquility. With Enjoy, you have access to a wide range of accommodations to suit every traveler's taste and budget. Experience the finest dining and hospitality Namibia has to offer. Booking your dream accommodation is just a few clicks away with Enjoy. Join thousands of happy travelers who have trusted Enjoy for their Namibian getaway. Your gateway to unforgettable Namibian adventures. Visit us today at enjoy.my.na.
Let's get into our top stories. Malawi's President Lazarus Chakwera has ordered the military to begin preparations for withdrawal from their peacekeeping mission in the volatile Eastern Democratic Republic of Congo. The Malawian troops are part of the Southern African Development Community mission deployed to combat armed groups in that region. Now, the decision comes after the M23 rebels captured the strategic city of Goma, the capital of North Kivu province, last week. The attack claimed the lives of at least 20 peacekeepers, including 14 South Africans and 3 Malawians. President Chakwera stated that the withdrawal is intended to honor the declaration of a ceasefire by the parties. Despite ongoing clashes, in a televised address, he emphasized that this move would pave the way for planned negotiations towards lasting peace. Malawi's Information Minister Moses Kunkuyu confirmed that the decision was made in good faith following a resolution by Southern African leaders at the African Energy Summit in Tanzania. The resolution called for an immediate ceasefire to create an environment conducive to peaceful negotiations. Moving on. Dr. Jean Kaseya, director of the Africa Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, Africa CDC, is set to write to U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio today, urging the resumption of health aid to Africa. The U.S. aid freeze, Kaseya warns, threatens lives across the continent and undermines efforts to contain disease outbreaks that could eventually impact Americans. In an exclusive interview with Reuters, Kaseya expressed alarm over the pause in funding, stating, "How can we respond to ongoing outbreaks without resources?" He highlighted the dire consequences, including the risk of an additional 2 to 4 million deaths annually from preventable diseases like HIV and Mpox. Kaseya also pointed out to the conflict in eastern DR Congo as a major obstacle to effective health responses. This pause doesn't just affect Africa, it affects the US too, he warned, emphasizing the global implications of underfunded disease control efforts. Now moving next door, Zimbabwe's President Emmerson Mnangagwa has welcomed Donald Trump's decision to deport illegal immigrants, including 545 Zimbabweans currently residing in the U.S. These individuals are part of a larger list of 1.4 million non-citizens slated for removal by U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement, Mnangagwa stated. The government of Zimbabwe supports the United States decision to repatriate our citizens who may have been residing in the U.S. illegally. This development comes as millions of Zimbabweans continue to flee the country's economic crisis, seeking better opportunities abroad legally and illegally. Many have found work in South Africa, Australia, Canada, and even on cruise ships, while others face precarious living conditions in host countries. Trump's America First policy has seen a crackdown on illegal immigration, with reports of over 500 arrests daily in areas known to harbor undocumented migrants. And in the last of our top stories, Lulu Rasebotsa, CEO of Air Botswana, has announced that the airline's new route between Windhoek and Gaborone has been warmly received by travelers in both Namibia and Botswana. Since its launch, the airline has transported over 600 passengers, marking a promising start for the regional carrier. Rasebotsa expressed optimism about the airline's future, highlighting its commitment to connecting Southern Africa and fostering economic growth through improved air travel. Here she is in her own words.
My name is Lulu Rasebotsa. I'm the CEO of Air Botswana. Air Botswana is super excited to have launched its route into Windhoek, which started on the 29th of November 2024. In the past 2 months since the launch, we've been able to transport just south of 650 passengers. For a new route, that's a phenomenal number. Air Botswana is very much a part of Namibia. We've recently appointed a general sales agent, being airline pros here in Namibia. So for anything Air Botswana related, for anything Botswana related, your go-to sales agent is Airline Pros, based here in Windhoek. We're looking forward to partnering with local charters to make sure that as we bring tourists into Windhoek, they can then take them to the coastal areas of Stockholm, etc. We are very pleased that we are leveraging off of the very close relationship that the Botswana government has got with the Namibia government. I think as an airline to be strategically located right at the heart of SADC, it is our intention to dominate the sub-Saharan Africa as a gateway to the rest of the world and to the rest of Africa.
You're still with Africa Good Morning. After the break, Rorisang Mogojowe in Botswana is going to bring us her stories, including next week's Finance Minister Ndaba Kgaolate, next week's budget speech, where Finance Minister Ndaba Kgaolate is going to have the attention of the entirety of Botswana. And then she's also going to be talking about De Beers, the big diamond company. It seems like the BDP, the just deposed political party, former ruling party of Botswana, is saying that the current ruling party is taking credit for their work. That and more shortly.
NTV Awards 2025. These are your nominees. Show of the Year. Viewer's Choice Presenter of the Year. Lifestyle Show of the Year. Public Affairs Show of the Year. Sport Show of the Year. Sport Presenter of the Year. My Zone Show of the Year. And Chill Personality of the Year. NTV Awards, celebrating creativity, dedication, and impact.
Africa, good morning. Thank you so much for having me here once again. As we get straight into it, all eyes are on Vice President, who's also the Minister of Finance in Botswana, Ndaba Kgaolate, who is expected to deliver his next week, Monday. Now, experts are saying this is a very critical budget speech because the new...
To Rorisang Mogojowe, our correspondent in Botswana, updating us on everything, including the anticipated budget speech by Minister of Finance Kgaolate, as well as De Beers BDP, who are now the opposition party, are saying that the current party is taking credit for their work. Here is Rorisang Mogojowe.
Africa, good morning. Thank you so much for having me here once again. As we get straight into it, all eyes are on Vice President, who's also the Minister of Finance in Botswana, Mnangagwa, who is expected to deliver his first budget speech next week, Monday. Now, experts are saying this is a very critical budget speech because the new UDC-led government is expected to outline exactly how they intend to translate their election promises into actionable policies. The Minister of Finance has said it before several times that there is a need to rebuild the government coffers, stressing the need to rebuild Botswana's fiscal buffers in order to protect the economy from future shocks. Now, key areas that the minister is expected to outline include job creation initiatives, as well as economic recovery strategies, and as well as broader fiscal measures which are aimed at addressing the country's financial challenges. The minister has also revealed that this year's budget, the 2025-26 budget, will prioritize strengthening financial reserves, and that is going to be done through cutting government spending as well as reducing the civil service wage bill in order to improve fiscal sustainability. So that is what the country is looking forward to, and this will take place on Monday, and we will of course bring you more on this developing story. Yes, for the second story, as we know, a lot of financial aid has been cut by the new Trump administration, and this has affected a lot of health services in Botswana, key being developing voluntary counseling and testing center, which is the largest in the country. The Ministry of Health has since confirmed that all of the testing centers will be closed nationwide, and this is going to affect a lot of health services, particularly HIV health services in the country. Now, the spokesperson also noted that many CSOs as well as NGOs, particularly those involved in the HIV and AIDS prevention and treatment services, have ceased operations, and in response the ministry is basically advising members of the public to seek health services or help from public health services, public health clinics and hospitals, but the government is assuring that they will take on the demands that need to be met, basically, because a lot of testing services, a lot of HIV health prevention services or organizations are closing down. Now, efforts are expected to be made to ensure that there is availability of condoms and other preventative devices at both public and private hospitals. And one of the ways in which the government is going to do this, especially for ARVs, because Botswana does provide free ARVs, is to be sending them through postal services, which is a brand new initiative, and this is in order to meet the demand right now that has been caused by the cutting of the financial aid by President Donald Trump. As we are all aware that US President Donald Trump has signed executive orders halting funding to a lot of African countries, and this includes Botswana. And then finally, the Botswana Democratic Party, which is now a minority opposition after nearly 6 decades in power, is coming out as an opposition voice. What is happening is that it is accusing the new administration of taking credit for the new diamond deal that has just been inked under the new UDC government, under the new UDC president, Duma Boko. The BDP did release a statement raising concerns over the recently signed diamond sales agreement between the UDC-led government and De Beers, accusing the UDC government of a lack of transparency. One of its main contentions is whether the government has waived tax obligations for DBS, which they say could potentially deprive the country of crucial revenue. The BDP has also called for full disclosure on the deal's terms, urging Botswana to scrutinize whether the nation's wealth is being adequately protected. Now, a lot of people are criticizing this because they're saying if De Beers owes a lot of tax money, which actually did come up under the BDP government, why did the BDP not sort this out? And it is only coming out to speak on it when it is not in power, when it could have prevented it while it was still in power. And on top of that, there is now internal strifes or internal shifts happening within the ruling party, who are currently preparing for what they say will be a 2029 victory. Now, key executive committee members are resigning from the executive committee, and this is causing a lot of shifts, a lot of internal strifes within the party. All eyes are currently on the former ruling BDP to see how they are going to sort themselves out after facing a massive loss during the October 30 elections last year. But right now, the main thing is that they are criticizing the new UDC government for taking credit for what they believe was groundwork that was done by the BDP under the leadership of President Mokgweetsi Masisi, which was seeking for Botswana to have a larger share within the DBS. They say that they are the ones that negotiated the key terms to secure a larger wealth of Botswana's diamond wealth in 2023. And this new deal involves the key terms that had been negotiated by the BDP but had not been signed. They were in principle, and now under the leadership of Duma Boko, those key terms of agreement have now been signed. Thank you very much for having me this morning, Africa. Good morning.
Many thanks to Rorisang Mogojowe for bringing us that comprehensive report of the latest news stories stemming from Botswana. Let's have a look at the economic indicators before we give you the highlights from the show. Thank you for joining Africa Good Morning this morning. Let's have a look at the highlights from the broadcast. Malawi president orders troops to withdraw from DR Congo. Africa's top health official presses US to resume health aid. And Mnangagwa welcomes Trump's decision to deport Zimbabweans illegally staying in America. DSTV 285, GoTV25, OneUp2.com and Network Media Hub on YouTube is precisely where you can find us. From me, Ashwin Berry, and the Africa Good Morning team, have a wonderful weekend. Soira Jakanaka.